Gemini, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they're aspecting your natal sun based on your birth date. So I'll be able to locate that by breaking it up into the 3 decans of Gemini. So I'll be able to know what aspects are forming to your specific natal suns, because you'll see that not all Geminis are going to be impacted the same. I'm going to start off really broad with the big stuff, like what's going on in the cosmos right now. And then I'm going to focus that down into Gemini specific information. And then I'll break everything down into the 3 decans of Gemini. And all you need to know is your birth date. Everything else I will translate for you. This is for the week of September 21st to the 27th, 2023. Now, not all weeks are huge transactional weeks, right? They're not all big. And I gotta tell you, this is a more subtle week. It's a calmer week, and I'm happy because we had a few shit shows really not too long ago. So just saying, there is some big stuff going on. However, Libra season begins, and it's so perfect. And I love the autumnal equinox because it is ushered in. It's happening. Libra season is on the autumnal equinox, and Libra really ushers in autumn, this change of season. Now, of course, Aries does that in the springtime near the spring equinox, and of course the equinox is when both day and night are equal, right? But the daylight hours, nighttime hours, the absolute same amount. Okay, that's wonderful, but Aries, and the reason why I geek out about the autumnal equinox is Aries in the spring. Aries is not about balance. Aries is about progress and individuality, but Libra is about balance. And so as we walk into Libra season, the ushering in of Libra season by that equinox is just the perfect energy for Libra. Libra's all about balancing things out, not by eliminating one or the other, but by finding the compatibilities between the two and being able to calibrate them appropriately. It is an exceptional energy, and I really think it is very special. It's a wonderful time of year. You can almost feel the balance in the air. You can feel the settling in and the peace that's starting to find its way into everybody as we calm down and start to roll into the autumn. And of course, in the at least in the States, this is when holiday season starts to pick up. So we start to look forward to Halloween and then Thanksgiving, eventually Christmas. So that's not in the fall, I know that's in the winter, but ultimately we start to look forward to a lot of good times that are more about going inward and your inner circle than being extroverted and out there and on the beach in the summertime. Now, I'm a summer girl, and that's my favorite season. So this isn't about my favorite season. It's just about the feeling that I get every fall, and I'm sure you can relate. Also, good news, as the sun moves into Gemini, Gemini 1s will be trine to the sun, because sun in Libra will be trine to Gemini 1s as it enters Libra 1, or the first 10 degrees of Libra. Now, for those of you in the 3rd decan of Gemini or born at the end of Gemini season, the sun moving into Libra in the 1st decan of Libra, it's going to make the sun square to your sun. And so that's where we start to see that it's really not the zodiac sign compatibilities, but the placement of the sun or the relationship of one planet to the other that really dictates the aspect or energy that is created between the two. And you'll see that there's a very dynamic difference. So let's get into the big stuff, though. We do have the sun moving into Libra. Happy Libra season. We have fall beginning. It's all happening on the 23rd. This is when the equinox happens. Now, Libra season technically out in California will begin at 11:59 p.m. on the 22nd, but basically most of the continental U.S. is going to experience it in wee hours in the morning on the 23rd. As this happens, as the sun transits into Libra, it is in opposition to Neptune, and it'll be in opposition to Neptune all week long. And when that relationship points out is where we can really be deceived and easily distracted. by things we want to believe are true but aren't really. There can be a lot of trouble differentiating between what is fact and what is fiction, especially if you play on somebody's egos and what they desire out of life. So this is a time that we need to think twice before we make especially big decisions. Get second opinions and see if we're basing our judgments on fact, on rationale, on intuition, or just emotions. Because emotions and what things appear to be visual can be very, very easily manipulated. We also have Mars in opposition to Chiron, which creates a tough energy as well. This sense of, why am I being held back? Why is everything I do not right or not working? A frustrated energy of maybe being more accident prone, or old injuries coming back up to you. Mars is also says it quadrate to Saturn, which is a minor aspect, but the fact that Saturn is also semi-square to Chiron, and they're forming this kind of very malefic, difficult energy in the sky that's really tough on things. Now maybe that's good, maybe it's something supposed to be tough on us, but what it does is it sets us up for disappointment, maybe even some depression, really some just wah kind of energy. And because we may be feeling that, or maybe put in the energy of that, it's going to be a lot easier to lead us into deception when somebody says something that we want to hear. So just this is energy to look out for this week. We also have Mars sextile to Venus, which means horniness and virility and sexuality. And since Venus is also square to Jupiter up through the 24th and square to Uranus all week long, this can actually lead to us trying to make up for what we don't feel in one thing with pleasure, and overemphasis on pleasure. Square Venus square Jupiter and Uranus simultaneously gives us very rebellious overindulgence. I'm going to do what I want to do. I want to experience these pleasures, this sense of just going for it and screw the ramifications or the consequences. So this is sort of like my girls gone wild week. This is you're gonna have the time of your life kind of energy, but also you could very well regret it for the rest of your life. Venus trine to Chiron, however, does have a grounding energy, which means that we are trying to heal or healing our sense of beauty or our own self-worth. And this is actually a nice energy. So it kind of favors, maybe we're trying to experience things that we never got to experience because now they have a value to them that they didn't have before because we've become more discerning. So there is that possibility too. Saturn is also doing something interesting with the nodes. It is sextile to the north node and trine the south node, which can mean that like laws or rules are starting to shift or being more open to shifting to something that is different, especially when it is made an easement with the past or can't be held responsible for it anymore. And I liken this to the energy of like lawmakers being open to nixing laws or making new laws once they know that they're clear of any kind of accountability that would, any kind of accountability that it would hold them to. Do you know what I'm saying? The sense of, oh, you were open to it now that we know that we're safe from it. It's that kind of energy. So I just want everybody to just be very vigilant this week. It can be a very fun, flirty, and happy week, but not necessarily, and I would guess, not really long-term happiness. And especially if you're feeling down about yourself, watch how much you spend, because you could be trying to overcompensate with that kind of thing and driven to doing something outside of your norm, more out of desperation for just feeling supercharged and wanting to feel something new than it actually being something that will satisfy you. Just an FYI. Let's go into Gemini specific energy. So what I look for there is what's going on in Gemini. And to answer that question is nothing. There's nothing special at all going on in the zodiac sign of Gemini. So that makes it pretty easy, right? And then we have Mercury. Mercury is your ruling dignitary, so it's important for you to always watch where it is, because it will sort of season your personality and your behavior. Whatever's happening to it will somehow happen to you. So we have Mercury, and it's in Virgo, which is its other ruling domicile. Mercury in Virgo is very practical, it's very practiced, it's very committed, it is very rational, and it is very follow the rules. So it's moving it's direct now, and it's actually starting to pick up speed. This is really good. It's moving in Virgo between 10 degrees Virgo and 18 degrees Virgo. That is almost full speed ahead. Mercury usually moves around 10 degrees a week, and so it's really picked up. We love our little Mercury. It zips around there. All week long, Mercury is trying to Jupiter, which, especially in the context of everything else going on, could mean people are over speaking or over promising or overindulging in what they're offering, even though they can't necessarily deliver. So it's something that we have to watch out for. Though it's not necessarily a bad energy, it's actually very optimistic, positive, and it's talking a lot of great sounding, developing and growing things, but can you really make do? Are you over promising? And in this energy this week, with Venus square to Jupiter, square to Uranus, sextile to Mars, with Mars in opposition to Chiron, you could be over speaking just so you feel bigger than you are. Not you, but people in general. So that's Mercury. Mercury is, however, trying to Jupiter, which will get you a great deal of listeners and add to your eloquence, as well as a great time to learn, especially foreign languages or about foreign cultures. It's also sesquiquadrate to Pluto through the 24th. Once again, that is a minor aspect, but I say it because of the trine to Jupiter with that energy from Pluto could be very formidable and give you more power and authority over your speech to impact change. Will it be change for the good? Will it be change for the better? Will it be motivated by the good of all or the good of you? I don't know. That's your choice, but it will be more strength in speech. We also have a quincunx to Chiron from the 24th on, which means it's being agitated by Pluto and Chiron, both energies that really aren't about making people's lives more pleasant. The quincunx to Chiron toward the end of the week is like a spur in the side, this understanding of things that this kind of discomfort that maybe something somebody said, but with regard something somebody said to you, pain that it caused, or something not sitting right with you with what somebody said, or something you said by the end of the week not sitting right for you if you overpromised, or you just recognizing other people's overpromises and it's starting to not sit right with you or feel right to you by the end of the week. And then we have, so by the end of the week, your Mercury is free and clear, but going into next week, and you might start feeling the build now, Mercury will go into opposition with Neptune. The Sun, it'll enter opposition with Neptune. And so it won't last long, but when that happens, your brain is going to be fogged. Not this week, but all of next week, just brain fog. And really being very easily distracted, losing yourself in daydreams. So whatever you need to get done that's really important, I would try to get it done either this week or wait for 2 weeks after that. Just an FYI. Because then you'll have a clear head. Let's go into the 3 decans of Gemini, shall we? So if you know that your natal sun is located between 0 and 9 degrees Gemini, it's in the first decan of Gemini. So you guys are Gemini ones. This correlates to Gemini birthdays basically in May. So anywhere between May 22nd and May 31st would be Gemini ones. Your natal suns are trine the sun. that as the sun enters Libra, your natal suns are going to be trying the sun. This gives you energy. It gives you confidence. It gives you an easement when it comes to self-confidence, feeling good about who you are. And that kind of charisma and confidence could go a long way, even for taking notice, feeling better about being seen than you normally do. It could even affect you in a more romantic way. So ultimately, very nice energy if you're at the cusp. So if your birthday is like May 21st, 22nd, 23rd, you are in a long-term sextile to Neptune. So this is highly creative energy. And the fact that your natal suns are going to be also trine the sun while Neptune and the sun are in opposition to each other, very creative energy. You could get some extraordinary downloads and epiphanies during this week. It's good to have a creative outlet for yourself to make all this energy very productive. You also have all this year a square to Saturn, which means conflict when it comes to feeling like you're being held back, feeling like you can't move the way that you want to move, or maybe rules or prior commitments are making you feel dragged, right? Maybe debts are making you feel dragged, or maybe you're just not feeling like you're making much progress, like things are extra hard on you. This happens to make you stronger, to challenge you and make you see what's really important to you and what's not. That's a year-long thing. It won't last forever, but it's meant to make you stronger. And then we have also, if you're at the cusps, your natal suns are in a long-term trine to Pluto. So this will give a level of authority to your nature, a level of gravitas to who you are. People will take you a lot more seriously, and it could even trigger some psychic energy in you, making you really be able to permeate and see through, especially people's lies. So this is really nice energy to have as we go into a week that could be very deceptive. FYI. Let's go on to Gemini 2s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Gemini, it's in the second group of 10 degrees of Gemini. You guys are Gemini 2s. So that correlates to birthdays between, say, June 1st and the 11th. Your natal suns are the ones sextile to Chiron. Sextile to Chiron means you are motivated to make things better for yourself and for others, and you're motivated by improving situations where you know there has been hardship. Your natal suns are also sextile to Venus. So there is a beautiful energy about you that is get up and go, feeling really good, motivated by beauty, feeling really good, looking really good. It's a great time to actually maybe make some financial advancement this week, as well as just increase your overall value to yourself and to others. So big opportunities there, especially when you are helping others or through or by helping others. This will really make you, quote unquote, look good. Not that you're doing this for looks, not that it's a shallow pursuit, but you will be highly visible and highly palatable this week. So it could lead to open doors and opportunities. We also have a square to Mercury, however. So you will be tripped up when it comes to information and information resources, and it could feel like a mini Mercury retrograde. So even though opportunities open up for you this week, I would not suggest that you sign any important paperwork, make any important promises. You guys could be extra vulnerable to over speaking, especially if you can't find the right words or your brain is misfiring. So just an FYI. Your natal suns are also trine to Mars through the 25th. So this is an easement when it comes to your physicality, taking action. It could help give you more energy. This is a really supportive energy. So all in all, really wonderful. It's just you might get a flat tire or your cell phone might crack during this week. Frustrations and irritations, Mercury style, yes, but everything else seems to really be open to opportunities or opening opportunities for you this week. So overall, a really nice week. And then we have Gemini 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Gemini, then it is in the third decan of Gemini. You guys are Gemini 3s. This correlates to birthdays between what is it, June 12th and June 22nd. Usually up through the 21st, but some Gemini 3s could absolutely be born on June 22nd. Very unlike Gemini 1s, your natal suns are square to the sun as it enters Libra. And that's going to have a profound impact on you because it is going to interrupt your self-confidence. It is going to challenge your self-confidence. It's going to challenge how you feel about yourself and could very well irritate you because other egos are rubbing up against yours. So this could be very challenging energy for you this week. You also have a semi-square to Venus and a semi-square to Jupiter. So it could be that you are spurred into action through frustration when it comes to value systems or expansion. You want to grow, you want to intensify whatever value that you hold, that something holds for you, wanting to make it bigger, maybe even in some ways reaching beyond what you can right now. So there is that sense of being egged on somehow this week, especially by what you desire. And if your desire is to travel or expand, that could be a big inspirational point as well. I don't think it'll be the easiest week for your romantic partnerships. Is if you are in them, it won't be the easiest week for you. It's not something that you can't get through, but you could find a lot of hiccups this week and a lot of frustration. Also, this is a time when you want to be very careful of overspending and overindulging, because it's easy for you to going to be easy for you to do that this week. Your natal suns are in a long-term square to Neptune, which makes this Neptune opposition to the sun also extraordinarily intense. Very distracting energy, very creative energy. You guys could really have some beautiful creativity or creative inspiration this week. Definitely write it down. Find an outlet for it so you can use the energy and it doesn't get ahead of you. But ultimately, you will be more vulnerable to believe bullshit than you normally would be because your rational mind isn't working as precisely as it usually is. So just an FYI. Also, your natal sun is in a long-term quincunx to Pluto, which makes you formidable but also intimidating to other people. So you could easily rub people the wrong way or not be trusted, even when you don't deserve it. It's just people can feel you piercing them with your eyes when you walk in the door, and you haven't done anything to change, except Pluto is now quincunx your natal sun, and it's deepening it. And it's giving it a shadow that it normally doesn't have. And it's kind of intimidating. And that's over the next couple of years. So you can either use that in a good way or a bad way. But either way, it is going to be impactful. And it's going to have a permanent impact on the way people see you. And then we have a sextile to the north node and a trine to the south node, which means you're looking toward the future because you've grown very comfortable with the past. This is a sense of I want change because I'm good with where I've come from and I know I've smoothed that all out. So now I am open to this potential. I'm open to shift. I want something different. I'm done with the old. I'm good. I've made my with it, and now I'm moving on and I want something different, or I'm aligning myself, changing your alignments because you're just realizing that the old stuff doesn't fit you as much as the new stuff did that once upon a time you didn't even relate to. So you'll start to see a shift in your preferences and in where your mind goes, or how you see the world during the next couple of months. You let me know how all this energy is impacting you. And please remember to like this video if you have enjoyed it, and share it with other people that you think might enjoy it. Please don't forget to subscribe to Astrology Motivation here, and then come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. I love you, Gemini. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.